2 of our LinkedIn Live with our book cover series, where we're going to be using my book, Blooming Good Information Management, as a starting point to talk about practical conversations, AI, governance, and the future of information management. So today's topic, I'm back with one of my most favourite people in the world, Peter Lockyer, and we're going to be talking about the challenges and the myths of AI in our industry and the governance around it. So governance is not just paperwork, it is policy sitting on a shelf. I think we've got an issue with streaming. Peter, just give me one moment.
Okay.
Yeah. Has it come up? Oh, yeah, no, we are live, so we're all good. I'm going to
Okay,
start
we're all
again.
Okay, so I have to behave now.
Yeah, you have to behave now. So what I was saying is that governance is just not paper. It's not just about paperwork. Governance is not just policies sitting on a shelf, and governance certainly isn't something or someone saying no. In my book, I took a lot about information management as something that should help people do their jobs with confidence, not something that just sits in the background and only appears when something goes wrong. Because that's one thing that annoys me, Peter, is that we're pushed in there. And the same message is critical. So when we start talking about AI governance, so good governance creates clarity, it creates confidence, it creates trust. And when it's done properly, it enables innovation rather than preventing it. Now, today, Peter and I are going to be discussing how organisations can move governance from a compliance exercise to a genuine business enabler. And we're going to absolutely give all the answers and whatever it needs to do in the hour, aren't we, Peter? So I wish we could do that. I wish we could solve all the world's problems in just an hour, especially as we're talking about AI starting to increase the pressure around ownership, risk, accountability, and trust. If you like this conversation and want to know more about your where you are in your AI journey, please head over to the Leadership Through Data website and complete the AI Empower scorecard and join our accelerator program. So, Peter, do you want to introduce yourself, before I get
Yeah,
grilling
sure.
you?
I'm Peter Locker. I'm the IDT manager. I'm IDT manager in Enterprise Information Management within Shell. Also a board member at AIM, and been active in this community for some time. Getting gray hair already, so that's how long I've been around, and it's a pleasure to talk to you. And a little bit of a secret to the crowd here. When Jackie invited me for the second session and she said she was going to be on holiday, I said, "Well, we can do it on site. Please invite me. Tell me where you are." But I still wait for an answer. So I'm back in my own room here, but it looks very sunny there and yeah, holiday-like. So I hope you're enjoying it, Jackie.
Oh, well, I'm still trying to find this work-life balance. So I'm in the south of France. It's absolutely roasting right now, Peter. So looking forward to this one finishing so I can dunk it into the
Well,
pot. But
you can roast me. Come on.
okay, I'll roast you then. Okay, so why do so many governance programs fail?
I think that's a very good question to start off with. Um, d- if you look at information management, and the experience I have is that they fail because they're seen as a compliance exercise instead of a business enabler. So too often they start with the governance program starts with policies, frameworks, or controls, like you were already alluding to, but but they do not actually connect to how people actually work. So it also should work for people, how decisions are made in the organization, how we increase business value and business need through it. So if I look again at the information management and the programs I've been a part of, the challenge is not about having those standards. It's about embedding those daily behaviors and embedding them into the platforms, into the information lifecycle, and create business ownership. Um, and again, I think that's why they fail. Let me see, and the how I see it is that you need that governance program to have that in place, to have senior leadership acknowledging that we need to do something in the way we manage our information or our AI or our knowledge in the company, but you also need the community to start working according to what the program tells us to say. So a bit of hand holding there.
So, what is the difference between governance and control, then, Peter?
Um, I would like to go back to your first question. Sorry, it's just
Carry on, by all
sorry.
means.
No,
You haven't finished yet, then.
no, I was just thinking of what I should say more about it, and I think the one-liner there would be that governance fails when it's designed as a rule book and not as a way to make decisions better in the organization. So that's my one-liner, so to say.
No, and I
But
think you're right, 'cause we often talk about us being the Department of No, really, don't we? And that can really come from that pressure point, like people roll their eyes or think, oh God, I don't want to, kind of do this. And it's trying to changing that brand and really making it that sort of enabler to be able to get people excited about it, get it done, and then
Yeah, and still, let's stay with question one here. What you also see, and I alluded on it last week as well, and I think there's a recording, right, from last week. But when AI came around, in combination with information management, AI make it more visible that a weak information governance creates risks and poor decision making at scale. And I think what I say at scale because it is at scale. So more things are more better, are even visible. So if you then combine it with strong governance create trusted AI, and it will also help you in creating real business value. So I think that's why strong governance should be in place, to tame the beast.
I love that. Have you finished now with question one, Peter?
Yeah, but it probably after question three, I will go back to question one if you don't mind.
I just think it's a good conversation starter, really. It's not about answering the question and then moving on. It's kind of,
No, 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 no,
blending
no.
that
But
as
you
a.
asked the second question, right? So,
I
but I
did
wanted to
ask
go
the
back.
second question. Absolutely fine. So I'll ask the second question now. What is the difference between governance and control?
Well, I think the short answer is that governance sets the direction, and controls prove we are following it. But a bigger question, a bigger answer should be that governance defines the direction, ownership, decision rights, and standards, and how control is how we make sure that standards are actually followed. Governance asks who decides, what matters, and what outcome are we trying to protect or enable. Controls asks how do we monitor? What is the evidence? Are we doing it correctly? Are we reducing our risk? And in my IM roadmap that we have in my team and my company, governance is about business ownership, life cycle discipline, taxonomy, data quality, AI readiness, and controls includes things like sensitivity labels, auto classification, retention, compliance dashboards, defendable disposal. So I think that would be a little bit of where the difference lies. So governance sets the direction, and control proves we're following it. If I may give an example here as well, um, um, governance says information must be owned, classified, retained, and disposed of appropriately. And controls are the mechanisms that we make this visible and enforceable, such as what I'm already alluded on, the sensitivity labels, the retention labels. Um, so yeah, I think that is the main difference here.
I love it. And you need both.
You need both. Yeah,
You need
yeah,
both.
yeah.
Neither one works without the other. So when you're looking at rolling out AI,
Hmm.
What how do you gain that executive buy-in? So you need AI. How can information managers gain that buy-in on the AI trend, should I say?
Um, I think that if you want to have a buy-in into AI and governance that as well, it's all about what risks are we trying to manage here, control. But that's only one aspect of it. I think it also must be linked to business outcomes. They need to understand that it has a direct impact on the business they're doing. I can give you an example here. So within my team, we have um, 5 portfolios, and they're called information lifecycle management, uh, legal discovery, business IM, etc., etc. If I go to the business and I say, "Look, this is my team. This is what we're doing," they will say, "So what? What are you exactly doing for my business? So what do you try to achieve here?" And in our case, it's based on AI readiness. It's based on doing things good, the basic compliance part good, and the third one is really based on business value, better business outcome. So we always our activities and projects and programs we're running are always connected to those business specific outcomes that we're trying to achieve here.
Yeah, and I think it's quite important as well that when you're trying to get something across the line for information management, you can actually utilize AI to help you do that because
Yeah.
AI doesn't work on,
Hmm.
well, it works on rubbish information. We get rubbish in, rubbish out. But I think if you're trying to get buy-in, try and look what AI tools that the organisation's trying to get in and try and, map your way in with the compliance, with the life cycle, with all the things that you actually need to get done. And then really try and map your way through that because I think you'll have a better outcome than
Hmm.
just the information management stick and
Yeah. So
tool.
so so just to be sure that I quote well will be quoted in the right way. So our 3 pillars within my team are reducing cost and carbon impact, protecting the license to operate, so that's the compliance part, and the third one is boosting productivity and AI readiness. So that's really on empowering the workforce to be more productive, and make sure that they understand AI in relation to the information that they're processing.
Yeah, and I think that I think with any sort of program that you've got to work, you can definitely utilize some form of technology AI to work in to get information management into the business and start driving. Also using storytelling. So there's a lot of things in my book around storytelling to get executive buy-in and, building relationships. I've been talking about that a while over the last few LinkedIn lives about establishing those relationships with senior stakeholders and end users to actually get that relationship so they understand the importance of information management when it comes to AI and then really drive that forward and they can be there for support with you.
And I had a call before this call with my team and my manager on that, because we're working on the visibility of my team, and we know that we're not always doing bringing the right message to the bigger community. And I call that information management is in a bit of an identity crisis since AI came around, because it was always about compliance and the compliance stick, and if you don't do it, you will be fined as a company. But now suddenly, it's about using AI to become more productive and create better business outcome. So the whole goal is different than where we used to be. And last week we talked about it as well. That's from the information manager coming from the seller into the spotlight, because it's very important to start managing your information in the correct way, your unstructured data in the correct way, because if you don't do so, AI will fail. And I think that there we still need to focus on, and governance can help there. What I've seen is that top down works. So if a senior leader or a senior leader says in the organization that we have to follow this route, and this is what we're going to do, and this is the programs we're going to run, it makes it easier to get it through the organization. But don't forget that also the bottom up is very important. If people don't start using the tools, don't obey to the policies that are out there, they won't be using the tools, be more productive, and your program will still fail.
Yeah, agreed. And it's just thinking about it differently, isn't it? What projects are going on in the business that you can interlink and build those relationships and actually say, this is where information management comes important.
Hmm.
And it's that emotional connection with the business as well.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
All the things that I love, branding, rebranding, all businesses rebrand themselves, information management should rebrand themselves, and definitely start to say this is the benefits of information management when it comes to AI. So I want to talk about innovation. I love innovation, but how do you balance compliance with innovation?
Um, that's a good one. I think that the the balance comes from treating the governance not as an enabler, but as a sorry, as an enabler and not as a brake. So don't stop people doing compliance. In a sense, if you look at information management, keeps the organization safe, but trusted information enables innovation. It enables AI. It ensures that automation starts working, and at the end of the day, there will be better decision making. So again, um, it, it's an enabler. It enables innovation. So if you look at my IM strategy, we're moving from the license to operate to the license to innovate. So license to operate means we are compliant, we're working in a compliant way, but the license to innovate is really what can we do to get that license and to innovate our processes, our organization, and again to get to better business outcome. And it's a complex one. Um, it's about keeping the right information, deleting what no longer has value, and label as a record what matters and you need to keep, and that will help you in making information find to be found easier, but also to be trusted. And I think that trust is very important by the end user. Um, because trust, you need to trust your information, so you also trust your outcome.
Yeah, agreed. And innovation is key to a lot of things nowadays, and driving innovation in different businesses and globally as well. And I think it's when it comes to AI brings a lot of innovative. I can never say the word innovative.
Yeah,
Innovative.
that innovative.
Innovative. Cheers. Tools and concepts with it, because you're putting your brain power into it and then you can create more from it, but you definitely need to make sure that you've got your information management in place.
Yeah, and I mean, I know you love one-liners, right? So the one-liner I wrote down, and I will pause here a little bit to create a bit of tension here. But the one-liner is governance is not the brake, or is not the brake to or brakes on innovation. It is the steering wheel. So you need to have governance in place to steer it into the right place. It should not be the blocker.
Yeah, agreed. Absolutely agreed. And I think with innovation comes leadership. So, what role should leadership play when it comes into AI?
I think I think what leadership should do is make it a business priority. And if you look at information management, don't make it only an IM responsibility. Leaders should set the tone and endorse the roadmap, and create also accountability, and remove roadblocks to move those programs further in the company. Um, and again, I'm going to repeat myself in the coming still 40 minutes. They have to connect those goals with the with those IT and functional goals and compliancy goals with better business outcomes. So productivity, cost reduction, AI readiness. What I've seen is that if you have a strong governance model for IM, it means that you have executive sponsorship, you have the business involved in there, you have also IM champions, which are the glue between the business and IT, but you also need legal. Legal needs to be there as your partner as well. Um, and that whole group will steer the roadmap and committing also business actions that are needed. So I think that is really important. You have to have that structure in place to move it forward. And I give presentations once in a while, and also about this topic. And people are asking me, "Yeah, but you're working for a big company, so it's easy to implement, etc., etc." But I think even in a smaller organization, you will be able to set that governance, maybe in a smaller way, but it's just to make sure that you have those governance items in place in the different levels of your organization. Um, yeah, so I think leadership will turn your governance into from a document or a paper-based exercise into a business discipline.
Yeah, and I think from a leadership perspective as well, it's about not rushing in too quick without all the facts. I think it's a question of being curious
Hmm.
and having an understanding of what's around and being kind. So I'm thinking this from, executive level to information leaders, having an understand what it is, being curious to sort of dip your toe into AI and, you know, you talked about trust, and we've talked a bit about trust and some of these think types as well, but it's also about, just taking that next step, trying it out. Everything might not be perfect, but have you got guardrails in place? What initial parameters have you got? And those types of things as well, I think, on top of the layers that you've just said, Peter, but I think it really gives that sort of the personal leadership aspects to those things that we're talking about.
Yeah, because you also have to see what do you mean with leadership. Eh? I mean, at the end of the day, you're a leader. I'm a leader. I'm not sure how many people are on the call. They're all leaders of their own destiny. It sounds like a broad thing, but that's what it is also in your professional life. So so be there, be there. Don't think you're going to fail or people will laugh about it when you do it. Just start doing it, and
Yeah.
that will just help.
Yeah, agreed. Well, I call us all information leaders because whether we lead somebody or not, exactly what you'd said, you
Yeah.
lead a team or you
Yeah.
lead information management within the business all by yourself. So I
Yeah.
think it's a really good analogy. So, how do you make governance understandable for employees?
And you're talking about what kind of governance do you talking about?
I'm talking about information management governance.
Ah, okay. Well, I was already alluding on it a little bit because you have to make it practical, simple, and close to the person itself, right? Um,
Yeah.
Abstract language doesn't work, so you need to make it practical. But again, you put governance in place because you want the organization to be safe, to have trusted information. So you also need to make sure that there's clear guidance on how to store, label, protect, find, share, and clean up your information as an individual or as a line of business. And in my area, what you see is that we have one single track, which is called Enterprise Information Management One, which makes information management tangible for our end users and our community. And we do that through persona-based learning. We do that through IM practices that we preach, to use that word. We're doing campaigns. We have a global information governance week, um, and what I'm really proud of is the information management value lab, where we try out new things with the business, just trying it out, and maybe it fails. No, I think 80% will fail, but 20% will be successful, and we will create better business outcome. But we learn from those 80%. Um, then also what we're looking at is the technology changes so quickly. So if you look at co-pilot agents, um, we use those to make information management and the governance around information more practical by helping people by using those agents to help people finding the right content or identifying missing metadata or automating routine IM tasks that we have in our organization. So all about productivity.
Yeah, agree. And I definitely sort of just layering in on those that make it simple for people to understand. So explain it to a 12-year-old if they can't understand, you haven't got it simple enough. You know, we're not talking about ED or RMS implementation, we're talking about a system that makes you find things quicker. It's just those fundamental basic things. If you're trying to sell to the business, you need to keep it simple. If you're using, you know, our terminology or big words, you know, the business is not going to understand, and that's how you make it relatable. And then, as you said, like gamification, practical based things, and storytelling is one of the big things, Peter, that I found hugely successful. Is that actually, you know, using relevant stories about the business or things that you know. So if you're executing a presentation or a training session as a leader, you talk something that you're confident and comfortable to talk about, which helps you in public speaking when you're delivering it, but it also helps people to relate and to understand it. So I think there's some great points there. So, you know, we talk about multiple hats of all the job roles that we've got and all the things we need to talk about: technology, compliance, soft skills. How should organisations prioritise these activities?
Um, that's where the identity crisis comes around, right? Because we would prioritize them a lot about compliance and governance our information on the compliance angle. But that changed, so or the risk angle. But that changed, I think, with AI. So we have to focus on the business value, um, on the scale, on the readiness for AI. And I think it starts with information areas that create the biggest exposure opportunity. I think so high risk content, poor metadata. We see over retention. We see fragmented repositories. Sensitive data is another area which you should look at as well. Um, Unmanaged, unstructured data platforms that are legacy. That's another item that you should look at, and then again also look at where you can showcase quick AI and automation benefits on trusted content for the business, because that's where you get your productivity from the activities you're doing. So you showcase quick value, and that will help you in getting sponsorship going forward, also from senior leaders. So if you look at my roadmap, we're looking at modernization of the platform. So new functionalities are coming on a weekly basis, so to say. So what are we going to do there on the platform? Are we going to do that? Storage is a big thing. As you see, if you look at the growth of your data and information in your organization, so how do you optimize that? Um, Also, we're looking at auto classification, which is, I think, an item that is important, because that will mean that the end user or the people that are responsible for labeling don't need to do that on every item, but they will be helped through automations there. Um, Let me see what else. I also think that in my area, in my team, we focus a lot on IM consultancy, so that I would say hand holding the business in how they should govern their information in their organization. Um, that is not really change management, I think. It's more something that really improves the productivity for the end user and the business, and they showcase the value that you're creating with the tools that you are delivering to them. And I think at the end of the day, it all creates stronger foundations for AI.
Yeah, brilliant. And you said there's so many things there, Peter, but it's about taking those small steps and identifying where you are, where you need to get to, right? And that's one thing that the Leadership Through Data AI Readiness Scorecard can help with.
I have one team member, and he is really good in looking at the new technology and making the fit towards what is good for the business. And I always appreciate, and I'm a bit jealous at him because he always makes that connection so well, and it doesn't cost um, a lot of time. It's not a project that he's running. It's not a program that he's running. He's just looking at where's the need, where's the technology, where's the information, and the combination of that, he gives functionality on the platform now. So those co-pilot agents, as an example, I was talking about, um, it's not that complex, but you have to start somewhere. Read about it, do it, repeat, and fail. But at the end of the day, you will get that productivity tool out there in a simple way.
Yeah, great. So, with the way you're describing it, what metrics do you define as success?
I was alluding on it already a little bit with the three pillars that we have in my team, but I think one of the things is the compliance score. So how compliant are you with your information? Because at the end of the day, that is our license to operate. That is, do you get a fine or not? So that needs to be in place. Uh, but the second one is cost reduction and and carbon impact. I mean, if you start manage your information, if you start to manage less information in your infrastructure, yeah, you reduce storage and carbon impact. So I think that is important too. Um, and the third one is about the business benefits. So that's the productivity part, which is not always is not very easy to make that tangible, um, but it is there. And if you then go more into detail, what I'm talking about, because this is quite high level, it's about metadata quality. It's about stronger findability of your content. It's improving the compliance maturity of your organization. It's reducing manual effort by automating stuff. Um, and an important thing is also the adoption of the IM practices that you have within your organization, and that is not only the call it compliance related practices that you have, but it can also be about how do I use a certain tool to become more productive, or which tool do I use to manage my information in the right way. Where's my system of records, and where's my working together tools? Where are they? How do I use them? Um, so I think that's where I would look at. Yeah.
Amazing, thanks. So, last question from me.
Already?
What already? Yeah, I know. We haven't talked long enough, or we've talked short
No.
enough. I always try to keep them a bit loose between an hour because I'd love
Yeah.
to get people questioning and asking, putting comments in the chat for us. So, if you're still listening, please put a comment in the chat for you. So, do you think that there's any more new governance that is needed in the age of AI, or it's the governance that we've already got? We just need to use it better and make it more effective for AI.
That's a good question, and what I would say on this one is we don't need new ones. I think you can use what you have, but make it. I think organizations need to make it more operational. So I would say an operational AI information governance model. So that will create the ability to govern your information and data and your content and your AI systems and your AI generated content, your prompts, your agents, your retention, your risk, and the accountability across the full life cycle. So again, it's about data, content, AI systems. So it's the whole lot, so to say. And I think if I go back to what AIM is saying, I think they have a study or a guideline out there which looks at practical AI governance accountabilities. risk management, and how to set up a governance program. So I think there you can get content on that part. I think it was published a couple of weeks ago. Um, and with if you look at the company I work for, we try to align with stronger information foundations, metadata, taxonomy, lifecycle management, and like I alluded to, auto classification, but also looking at AI governance and combining that with IM governance, or data governance. And then I'm not even talking about knowledge management yet. Um, and let's see what else I can say here. Um, I think in the AI age, governance capability is no longer about, or information governance capability is not only about managing your information after the fact. I think what you should look at is design it in such a way that you have trusted governance and AI ready information from the start. And I think that's where the information life cycle is changing. So do it from
Yeah,
the start
100%.
to make sure that you have trusted content that you can use for your AI solutions that you're rolling out.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So, for all the people that have attended today, what's the one thing that they should do when they leave today's LinkedIn Live, Peter?
Read your book.
Ah, yeah, read my book, fill in my scorecard.
Yeah,
Everything will
exactly.
help then.
No. Uh, I think the general thing is that AI is as good as the information that you can trust. So if you're an information manager, then you're in the right um, you're in the right place of work, right? Um, it's I think if you look at organizations, they will not succeed with AI if they only look at the technology. They also need to create those strong information foundations, to create clear governance, and the discipline to turn information into trust as business value. And yeah, I mean that there were three sentences or two sentences that are really high level, but it is about the end user. It is about you. So start learning on what AI can do for you, and you can do little baby steps or bigger steps like my colleague is doing, combining the technology with the business need. But start somewhere. If you look at IM and AI governance, sit down with a colleague and start drawing out what a governance model should look like. Look at who are my stakeholders, who are my important stakeholders, etc., etc. I think little baby steps you can do yourself there. And I think the final tip I can give: ask your kids about it, because if we talk about AI, they know much more than I do. The secret is that my kids just do their homework with AI, and they're done in half an hour, and they don't learn anything, but they do learn. But they use AI in the way they work, like we used to use a calculator when we're doing maths. So
Very good. So thank you for that, Peter. It was really nice. Thank you for plugging my book. It is about the book, these series anyway. It does give you this 7 key pillar framework, which is the Empower framework, that covers everything that we've been talking about as a high level. So it's a really great starting point for you to get the fundamentals right before you deploy AI. I've just popped the scorecard, the AI readiness scorecard, into the comments on LinkedIn. Please go away and fill it out, because that will really give you a nice rounded report. It'll take you about 5 to 10 minutes, so you don't feel like it's such a heavy burden of the things that you need to start. Peter, it's been absolutely sensational. If you've been brilliant for you today, thank you so much. We're going to take a break for 2 weeks, and then Peter and I will be back for our last series in 2 weeks' time. I'm actually going to go and enjoy the sun, Peter, and actually
okay,
take
very
some
good.
well-earned break, as everyone's been suggested. But between now and then, if you want any help, please head over to the Leadership Through Data website. There's the Empower 21 free 21-day trial, where you can digest all this lovely content that we've been talking about, and our Microsoft 365 courses with information management as well. please head over to there. Thank you so much, Peter, for such a
You're welcome.
fantastic discussion. Don't forget to share this recording and let me know if you like our content and let me know if you miss me over the next 2 weeks. That'd be
Yeah,
amazing. But Peter,
I will just going back to work now and not going back in the sun. But if somebody wants to contact me, they can do that through LinkedIn, and happy to answer any questions or clarify some stuff here.
fantastic, fantastic. Thank you so much for watching. See you in 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye bye.